So, welcome to another installment of This or That. In this series, I pit two movies against each other, see which of them is more popular among audiences, and force my journalist colleagues to reveal whether they agree with public opinion or not. I'm Jeanette, an entertainment journalist and critic, and this is my friend Gissane Sophia, also an entertainment journalist and critic. Hi, Gis.
Hi.
How are you?
Thriving.
Hell yeah. So I have gathered her here today because we are going to discuss two iconic Lindsay Lohan comedies, which I just learned were only shot a year apart because I, for some reason, have decided that Freaky Friday was made in like 1999. And that is what I will always think of it as. But in fact, Freaky Friday was made in 2003. And Mean Girls, which we are comparing it to, was just a year later in 2004. So
that's shocking.
It feels like the Lindsay Lohans and Freaky Friday and Mean Girls are not like the same Lindsay Lohans. They feel like two different eras, you know?
And also Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, which I don't think many people know about, but I still feel like that one's also a very different Lindsay Lohan. So but it kind of makes sense if like that was her peak in the early 2000s.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. But yeah, I agree. All three of those movies feel kind of like separate timestamps of her career. So anyway, I'm spiraling. But we'll kick this off. We're going to try to figure out which of these movies is the better movie. And so to start, I'm going to ask, which of these movies, Freaky Friday or Mean Girls, do you think audiences have deemed the most popular?
Mean Girls. Like, I know you said it's close, but there's no way it's not Mean Girls, because I just feel like Mean Girls has such a huge role in how we talk, how we behave. Like, it really like made an impact on us when we were 13, 14, I don't know, however. Mean Girls.
You're right, but it is closer than like I think you think, and it's definitely closer than what I thought. So if we're going by Rotten Tomatoes, Freaky Friday actually scores slightly better with an 88%. Mean Girls has an 84, but on IMDb, Mean Girls wins with a 7.1, whereas Freaky Friday has a 6.4, which feels in line. Letterboxd, Mean Girls has got more stars with 3.8. Freaky Friday is at 3.5, and Mean Girls has significantly more likes. It's in the millions, whereas Freaky Friday is sitting down in the thousands. So big difference there. But the interesting thing to me is that Freaky Friday made more money at the box office. Not like a staggering amount, but significant enough.
I will say this. I didn't watch Mean Girls in the box office because I wasn't allowed. Like, I don't know how my mom found out that there were inappropriate things in it, so I wasn't allowed to watch that one in theaters. But I did watch Freaky Friday.
So what you're saying is this is your fault. This is your fault that Mean Girls didn't.
So I feel like a lot of the preteens that like were like, again, how old was I? I can't do math. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch Mean Girls. So I wonder if that was another thing of like younger kids who would have watched Freaky Friday not watch Mean Girls.
That I think that you're onto something there. I do think that like Mean Girls and Freaky Friday have slightly different target audiences.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney is behind Freaky Friday. It's definitely going a bit more family friendly and maybe a little bit younger in its target audience than Mean Girls, which is, you know, it's pushing it. I mean, it's Tina Fey. Like, what do you expect? So
in high school. I'm pretty sure I was in middle school. Yeah, I was in middle school in 2004.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I did not see Mean Girls until it was like on TV, like just running, and then it was
I rented the VHS. Yeah, I must have like rented the VHS for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a vibe. So I guess I feel like I already know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask you, which of these do you agree with the audience, or is Mean Girls the better movie?
Yeah, I think objectively it is, because Freaky Friday is not one that like, if I was gonna watch like an early 2000 teen comedy, I would not turn to Freaky Friday. I would turn to Mean Girls. And it largely does, sorry to Lindsay Lohan, I love her. She is so iconic, but it does have to do with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, who are so like important in my like career that I feel like I would always choose that because their type of humor works best for me.
Oh,
I do
totally.
agree with the audience. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I also agree with the audience. I do really love Freaky Friday.
I do
There's
too.
so much nostalgia there.
Yeah.
But if someone was like, "Hey, you can only watch one of these for the rest of your life," like I'd have to
Yeah.
pick Mean Girls. Like,
Because
you have to.
Mean Girls hasn't left us. Like, I don't think there's anything from Freaky Friday that like I think maybe like occasionally, like when I'm eating fries, I'll wonder if it's going to my thighs. But I feel like that's like probably one of the few things that like stuck out from Freaky Friday. Whereas like Mean Girls, every October 3rd, we all know what October 3rd is.
Mhm.
Like anything that like is related to, I think, pop culture and the way that it has expanded is so like I think we can blame Mean Girls for all of it. Like the amount of times I'll watch a mess and I'll just think about Regina like standing in the hallway, like
Mhm.
as everyone's like scattering through the burn book. Like it just, and as toxic as it is, it's such a staple in pop culture that there's no way that I would want to not watch it, you know? Like pick
Oh,
something else.
totally. Oh yeah, no, totally. And I think, yeah, there is like it's got like a certain level of toxicness to it, but
Yeah.
the sad part is its themes like remain
Oh yeah.
relevant to every generation. Like, yes,
Mhm.
it's a bit dated in that early 2000s kind of vibe. I do think Mean Girls has aged pretty well
Yeah.
compared to some things. And but yeah, like it's wild because it is just like a timeless
Yeah.
story, like where people of that age are just like desperate to fit in. And what I think I like about Mean Girls too is that it doesn't just give us like this kind of standard like rise of hero or fall of hero. It kind of gives
Mhm.
us the full spectrum. Like
Yeah.
Caddy is starts as this like likable protagonist who turns into a villain,
Yeah.
and then the movie doesn't leave her there. It brings her back
Yeah.
down into the protagonist territory. So it gives you a big spectrum, which like Freaky Friday doesn't as much. I would say that Lindsay Lohan's character in that is a bit more like not antagonistic, because she's not antagonistic. She's just a
No.
naive teenager. But I would say it's kind of the opposite, where we get her like just this more standard rise of hero, as they say in the
Yeah.
biz, And I think Mean Girls just has more depth.
It does. It really does. And like again, it still holds up because maybe like bullying is done differently nowadays through like social media or something like that, but it's still unfortunately a thing that's going to be there. But like also just even the way that like we talk about people, I think is still so similar. Like it's just I don't know, there's something about that movie. Also for me, again, I love it so much because I'm just like, how is um Mrs. George, whose first name I don't remember. I'm like, how are you, Leslie Knope? Like, it's just what that movie does for all the actors in it is so fascinating to me. Because it's like, didn't the Notebook come out in like 2005 or 2006? So like Rachel McAdams
Mhm.
did this like movie as like a teenager, and then all of a sudden she's this like romance darling. I don't know how to put it. Like all of the actors in that movie have done something so huge for I feel like pop culture in general and like the movies and TV shows they've been in. So I feel like for that reason it's also such a like little like time capsule. Like look at where they were at.
Oh yeah, no, totally. It's really fun to go back and see them in these early roles. And yeah, like you said, I think it's just relatable. Like my mom watched Mean Girls the other day, and my mom is obviously she's like Gen X. She grew up with more of those like the classic like 80s bullying
Yeah.
movies, but she loved Mean Girls
Yeah.
and she got it. Like I think you could show Mean Girls to Gen Z and what's the new one, Gen Alpha or whatever, and I'm sure it would. I'm sure it would
Yeah.
hit. And I like that. Like I think what Tina Fey did really well in writing it is that like she doesn't like leave anyone behind. Like
Yeah.
even at the end, we kind of realize, that Regina and Gretchen and oh my God, what's
Karen.
the yes, Karen, that you know, that they have their issues and problems too, which isn't like a unique theme to this type of teen movie. We see that in like The Breakfast Club, but I think it's nice that kind of everyone gets their moment. And yeah, it's got a great ending.
That movie is one of those movies that I'm like, if somebody like they were like, here, we're gonna pay you an X amount of money to do trivia and to quote everything, my brain that can't remember what I ate yesterday or what I watched yesterday is going to remember everything about Mean Girls.
Oh, it's a sickness. What's your favorite quote? Like, what's the? There's
I have a favorite quote, but like, I remember so many things about it. Wait, now I have to think about a favorite quote. Hold on.
Now I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh my God. Like off the top of my head, I have like, there's a 38% chance that it's already raining. That's not my favorite quote. It's so ridiculous that like, well, I've been thinking about like, don't have sex or you will get pregnant and die because of Steve Harrington. But like, you know, like it's like every part of it is just so ridiculously quotable. Like even if it makes no sense, like,
oh yeah,
they were the ones who like coined the term fugly, right?
I know.
Before.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like that's where I learned it. I was like, oh my God, this is so creative.
Yeah, no, for real. I just love that scene in general because they kind of hit you with like the littlest of a twist there where you think for one moment that like, you know, she's putting Caddy in the burn book and like and then it's herself and she plays and I'm just like, ooh, that's good. But yeah, that might be like the first time we see fugly, at least maybe on television if they didn't coin it. I mean, on the big screen, not television.
But just good.
It's really good. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes, I really like the scene too when she kind of like Lindsay Lohan's character gets like her reckoning when she realizes she's been bad and Janice and Damien are in the car like driving next to her and kind of like she's like, you're not pretending to be plastic, like you are plastic.
Yeah.
And
that is such a good line.
It's a really great moment. And I love a movie that throws the title of the movie like at the characters, like her being like, you're a mean girl, you know? And I'm just like, it's so satisfying.
It's all very organic. And again, credit to Tina Fey. There's a reason she and Amy Poehler are like the people that I consider like comedic queens in every way. Because it's just so naturally funny.
Oh, totally. And I don't know if this will make you feel old, but I did look it up. Tina Fey is 33 years old in Mean Girls, just for what it's worth. For what it's worth.
Cool. No doubt.
But anyway,
I mean, so that's fun. That's what's wild when you like look back at movies from that age and you're like, these people, whoa, the sunlight just like the people are.
You're serving Twilight right now.
They're all younger than me. What do you mean?
You're an immortal vampire. I knew it. Yeah, no, I mean, I think Mean Girls is just timeless and classic. And it's funny too, because I do think Freaky Friday's messaging is also a very like timeless and classic messaging. And obviously we should note that this isn't the first Freaky Friday. It's a remake of the even older Freaky Friday. But
I just never.
But this is ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the sequel too. I think the sequel actually did a really good job of bringing back this cycle of mothers and daughters, because it's a story that's always going to be very universal. Like, it doesn't matter if you learn the lesson. You're going to have a child someday and they're going to have to learn that lesson too, because cycles are just always going to repeat themselves with different generations.
Oh, totally. And yeah, the mother-daughter theme is super strong in it, obviously. But I would argue even like it can just apply to anyone, because it's really about just like, the changing of the generations and the lack of understanding. And what I always think is so interesting about Freaky Friday is you can see why Lindsay Lohan's character has this disconnect from her mother, but it's really interesting that the mother has kind of forgotten. She has lived life as a teenager before, but she's kind of forgotten what it's like. And I think that can happen to all of us. Like when I go back and watch Freaky Friday now, I'm trying to like remember my experience as a kid, but now like Jamie Lee Curtis like carries that movie. Her scenes are so funny. But
Maybe
I'm like,
now as an adult, I would feel that way. But as a kid, I was obsessed with her because I was obsessed with her band. What is happening to my life right now? I was obsessed with the band. Like the amount of times I listened to that Pink Slip song.
Oh yeah.
Like just rewinding the scene from the VHS and listening to it because we didn't have Spotify back then. We didn't have like LimeWire or any of those other means of like getting this song. So I would literally just rewind the scene, listen to the songs, and go back and forth.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great song. Like even I was watching some like scenes of it before we talked just to like refresh the old brain, and I was walking away like singing this. I was like, yeah, you know, like that's like what I walked away from. And I don't even think I saw the scene with the song. It's just how like interwoven,
yeah, it is.
Like the music is in that with the story, but. Yeah, personally nowadays, and I mean, that's kind of why I'm giving, if I'm comparing these as like Lindsay Lohan movies, I almost want to say Freaky Friday is, for me now, it's really a Jamie Lee Curtis movie. I think that she's just the standout. And even in Freakier Friday, which I watched not that long ago, I was like, oh, Jamie Lee Curtis just carried this movie. She carried it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mean Girls, I think, is the better showcase of Lindsay Lohan. Not that she's not great in Freaky Friday, and honestly, she's kind of great in everything she's done, but I don't know.
Mean Girls is also just a really great ensemble movie. Like, really, really strong ensemble movie. I don't think that people use ensemble casts. They don't always use them well, but I think Mean Girls is a solid example of like really using every character and the screen time you have to your advantage.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. You feel like you know every character and you care about every character to an extent.
You care about their character journey, and I think that that's what's so important about watching a movie like that. Like again, especially as a teen, and why it was so like impactful for us and why we all got obsessed with it, because these character journeys were all fascinating to some degree.
Oh, for sure. Totally. Yeah. I would honestly be really interested in hearing where people fall on this scale between these two movies, because they both are so nostalgic. I would like, my gut instinct is that more people would side with Mean Girls for sure. And I mean, that seems to be the case based on the data, but yeah, I would be really curious if somebody is like, hey, Freaky Friday is like my thing, and this is why. Like, I would love to hear why they think it could beat out Mean Girls.
I have a ridiculous story about Freaky Friday. So I think I was like, because usually I would go to the video store with my dad to rent movies, but for some reason with this, either I didn't go with him, or I think he like called his friend to like reserve it or something. And I think he just said like Friday. And at that time there was like was it like a rated R comedy or something? I don't remember. And the video owner goes, I don't think that's appropriate for your daughter. And so we had to keep going back and forth, and me being like, yeah, it is. I really want to watch it. I know it's important. Like, here's the cover. This is what it looks like. So it's just like, I do love my viewing experience of Freaky Friday more than my viewing experience of Mean Girls. But I do think Mean Girls just generally has the timelessness.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like not just our generation, but every generation that like watches it, I think it's going to do something for them. Whereas like Freaky Friday, we might be biased because of our nostalgia.
Yeah, that is true. And I'll be curious to see if they do. I mean, I'm sure they will at some point remake this Freaky Friday again for like a new generation of people.
I mean, they did remake Mean Girls. I never watched it, even though I do like parts of the cast, like some people in the cast, but I was like, I can't do this. This feels wrong.
Yeah, but it was the musical, right? Like
it was a musical, and then it was a movie based on the musical.
Okay.
I think
yeah.
That's what. Yeah,
but they were still singing.
Yeah. So it wasn't technically a remake of Mean Girls, but it was like an adaptation of the stage version.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting to see like a modern Mean Girls, because as you brought up earlier, there is things that have changed. Like the themes are classic, but the things around have changed, like the social media and all this stuff. I'm sure that like
it all would be bigger today.
It'd be interesting. Like the burn book would probably be completely like online, like
Instagram page.
Yeah, like I'm like, how would they do that? That would be really interesting. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe a couple decades from now, someone will dare
Yeah.
to, or maybe Tina Fey would even come back on board and do something. Who
Yeah.
knows?
I would
But
touch it if Tina Fey did. I would go near it and I would give it a chance. But if she didn't, then I can't do it. Not yet. Maybe like when we're in our 50s.
yeah, to be continued on that thought. But yeah, so to recap, yeah, super surprised about how close these movies were, but I get it. Like Freaky Friday beating it out at the box office, it makes sense. It's a Disney movie, being marketed as more family friendly. But again, you and I both agree that with the audience, that Mean Girls is the better movie. So, I mean, hey, it doesn't get much easier than that.
Nope.
Darn. Okay. Well, with that, we're out. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.